Minecraft has had several appearances in TV series and in other video games. Some of the most amazing examples have been in the Rick and Morty series, where they have to transport themselves to a world made of cubes. Also, on another occasion, Cartoon Network launched a commercial where they show the most successful series of the program, in a totally cubic universe, in the style of Minecraft. This doesn't end here, because Minecraft also had its cameo in The Simpsons. In a scene from season 25, it appears in the intro as if it were Minecraft. It is called Simcraft, and when they reach the classic sofa area, a creeper appears and blows up the whole house. But one of the most impressive appearances has been in Adventure Time. They dedicated an entire episode in honor of this video game, where they have to fight against Minecraft mobs, including the Endermans. And even in one part, their sword breaks and they have to craft a new one. I don't know about you, but it's a very beautiful thing that the other movies and series know about the potential that Minecraft has, and one of the companies that decided to take advantage of Minecraft's success in its video game was Nintendo, adding Steve 2 years ago to Super Smash Bros. The news was so bombastic that all Twitter went down that day. People couldn't believe it. The community was happy and delighted with this collaboration. However, time passed, and when they finally added Steve into the game, most of the Smash community started to hate Steve, so much that many Smash Bros players in recent months have made a campaign against Steve. For example, trending the hashtag #BanSteve, asking Nintendo to please remove Steve from all Smash Bros competition. But what's going on with Steve? And what did he do to make him so hated? Well, today you will know the whole story. This is why Smash hates Steve. But before reminding you to subscribe, you can also try the new like animation. Welcome back to Bobicraft. We will start this video with something simple. Who is Steve? This will seem obvious to you, but it's important to analyze what are the main mechanics of Steve in the Minecraft game. It can be said that one of the main characteristics of this Steve is that he is a character capable of breaking blocks and modifying his environment. 2. He is capable of placing blocks, as he is also capable of obtaining resources and with this crafting more powerful tools. All these basic things that Steve does in the game were added to Smash Bros, because Steve can mine and get materials in order to use them in his crafting table and thus make more powerful tools. Also, Steve is the only character capable of place blocks in the arena of the game. Knowing that we can see that Steve has good attacks, but what is wrong with that? Why do they want to cancel Steve? Well, Steve's controversies begin in Japan. As you can imagine, in Japan, video games are taken very seriously. There are constantly professional competition for these games, especially Smash Bros, because Smash is a competitive game of battles. In these competitions, most professional players know each other because they have to know their weaknesses and also their strategies. But just a few months ago, everything changed. In one of these competitions, a 15-year-old boy appeared, called Akola. Akola wasn't known at all because he started too young. This Akola boy liked to use Kazuya. He also handled Luigi quite well. In addition, he really enjoyed using Donkey Kong. But when they put Steve in Smash Bros, Akola caught his attention. So Steve would quickly become his main character, and after a full year practicing with this character in his humble home, Akola believed he was ready for a competition. Akola participated in his first tournament in 2022, destroying absolutely everyone, being in first place. It seemed like a beginner's luck, but what all the people didn't know is that it was a matter of months for Akola to be considered as the best player in Japan. At only 15 years old, and using Steve, he broke it so much in Smash Bros tournaments that in the year 2022 he has more than 18 wins in first place. A simply amazing streak. The name of Akola began to spread within the entire community because it was crazy how he was destroying many professional Smash Bros players. But how was it possible that such a young and new player in Smash competitions was crowned as one of the best players in such a short time? Okay, all this was too strange. His enormous victories made many people who watched the tournaments doubt. Then, on June 6th, the Invitational tournament takes place, in which once again Akola was in a perfect first place, demonstrating once again the impressive power of Steve. That day when he won this tournament, people started to theorize that the Steve character in the Smash Bros was very powerful. Many people in the Smash community started saying that Steve was clearly unbalanced throughout the game. That Steve was winning every single tournament began to generate a lot of anger and hatred for this character. But the craziest thing about all this is that the story of Akola has been repeated on other occasions, such as the case of the player Jake, who won one of the most important tournaments with Steve. And not only that, also in another important event called Super Smash Con, a player named Onin faced one of the best Smash players, and again he ended up winning the final with Steve. So, with all this information that I just told you, you may be realizing why people started hating Steve. There was something Steve had that made everyone win. His hatred spread, and today all Twitter is plagued by the hashtag #BanSteve. Some comments are joking, but others talk seriously. So far, Steve hasn't been banned from major tournaments. However, the #BanSteve movement has been taken very seriously in some smaller competitions, such as these official announcements that several people who organize events have decided to ban Steve, due to the strangeness that Steve has done that players have won so many tournaments. But then, the million-dollar question: is Steve in Super Smash Bros. Really as powerful and unbalanced as people are saying? Well, for this, I'm going to show you some of the attacks that Steve is capable of doing. First of all, when Steve puts up a wall of blocks, the opponent can't get past at all. That gives Steve enough time to get diamond and thus make the famous Diamond Sword, which is extremely powerful and does too much damage. Now, Steve also has a minecart. This minecart is able to launch players off the map, and if that wasn't enough, Steve has a powerful anvil attack. Steve also has an upward attack with the axe. It's said they can be insanely powerful flying attacks. And did I tell you that Steve is capable of troll with TNT? Well, all these attacks that I have mentioned seem too powerful, but they really are not. For example, the minecart that launches opponents off the map is easy to attack. Opponents are able to destroy it in time, just like its other attacks. The real problem with Steve is when combining all his power. These separate attacks don't work, but those players who master all Steve's characteristics, then he does become an ultra powerful character. Like this example: you launch the minecart so that your opponent goes off the map. You hit him with the pickaxe, throw him down, save yourself with some blocks, and the blocks don't allow the opponent to pass. It is a reality that Steve is very powerful, but only if you know how to use his powers. Look at this other attack. The opposing player has a shield, but the anvil is capable of removing all the protection. What I have taught you so far is just the basics. Just pay attention to the following master moves.
Oh my god.
Until now, they are challenging all players who only play with Steve to participate in a tournament called Hungry Block. The only requirement is not to use Steve. This type of events is intended to see how good are those players who use Steve without using Steve. But isn't it easier to just balance Steve out a little bit? Perhaps make his attacks less powerful, because this will most likely not happen, because Smash Bros has already said that he will not release combat balance updates. So unless it is something exaggeratedly urgent, there will be no more updates. Steve is going to stay that way for now. We are left with the uncertainty of what will happen in the future. Could it be that Nintendo puts cards on the matter to ban Steve, or will it stay like this? In my humble opinion, I think not everyone could use Steve so ethically. After all, it also depends a lot on your ability and how to use it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I leave you a playlist with more videos of Minecraft. Surely you haven't seen any. Let's try to reach 2,000 likes. Remember that the sale of my second book is already on Amazon.